Today, we're diving into one of the most intense and stylish assassin thrillers of the year, Ballerina. This movie blends lethal combat, family secrets, and a personal quest for vengeance into a story that keeps you on the edge of your seat until the very end. Warning. Spoiler alert ahead. If you haven't seen the film yet, this is your chance to click away, because we're breaking down everything, including the ending. Alright, let's get into it. The story opens with Eve McCarrow as a child, already living a life shadowed by danger. Her parents, both skilled assassins, are constantly on the run from a mysterious and deadly cult. We see the chaos that erupts when the cult targets their family, leading to the tragic death of her mother and forcing her father, Javier, to make a desperate escape with young Eve. In these early moments, the film establishes not just the stakes of Eve's world, but also the emotional core of her journey, the trauma, the loss, and the burden of survival. Her father sacrifices his own safety to ensure she escapes, a pivotal act that sets the tone for Eve's later choices. This opening lays the foundation for everything that follows. A young girl molded by loss, danger, and the shadow of vengeance, preparing her for the dual life she will lead as both a ballerina and a lethal assassin. After escaping her father's tragic fate, Eve is brought under the protection of Winston, the owner of the Continental, who guides her towards safety within the Ruska Roma community. Here, she meets the enigmatic director who becomes her mentor, and Nogi, another skilled trainer. Over the next 12 years, Eve is molded into something extraordinary. She becomes both a ballerina and a highly trained assassin, mastering grace, agility, and lethal combat skills. This period of training is crucial, showing not only Eve's physical transformation, but also her psychological evolution. She learns discipline, precision, and the calculated ruthlessness required to survive in the world of assassins. Along the way, she encounters John Wick, who cautions her against the path of violence. Although she respects his warning, she ultimately dismisses it, driven by a burning desire for vengeance against the cult that destroyed her family. By the end of this section, Eve is no longer a scared child, but a formidable force, poised to take on the world, protect the innocent, and confront the enemies who shaped her destiny. Eve, now a fully trained Kikimora, proves her skills on her first assignments, blending lethal precision with elegance. Protecting heiress Katla Park and taking down her father's enemies shows her mastery, but her thirst for revenge drives her further. She discovers that a fellow assassin is connected to the cult that killed her father. Defying the director's truce, Eve sets out on her own path, gaining intel from Winston about Daniel Pine in Prague. As cultists led by Lena close in, Eve's pursuit escalates into a deadly international chase. By the end, Eve isn't just on a mission, she's entering a full-blown conflict where every choice could be life or death. The climax unfolds in Holstat, where Eve faces the cult in a final blood-soaked showdown. She battles through heavily armed cultists, using her assassin training to protect Pine's daughter, Ella. In a tense and personal confrontation, she corners the Chancellor, the cult leader, and executes him, ensuring the immediate threat is eliminated. John Wick appears to intervene, subduing Eve briefly, but ultimately allowing her to finish the fight on her own terms. This moment emphasizes the moral choice Eve makes. She refuses to become a tool of either the Ruska Roma or the cult, defining her own path instead of being forced into cycles of violence. The film closes with Eve surviving, but now a marked target. A bounty is placed on her head. She leaves Holstat, bruised but determined, signaling that while this battle is over, her journey is far from finished. Saving Ella highlights her humanity and moral compass, showing that vengeance can coexist with protection, and her story ends on a note of resilience and agency.
And that's a wrap on Ballerina. From Eve's tragic past to her deadly rise and ultimate stand against the cult, this movie blends intense action with a deeply personal story of vengeance and survival. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more deep dives into the wildest action films out there, don't forget to subscribe, like, and ring the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next breakdown.